Picture this. Someone reaches into a bag, searching. Then, pulls out a knife and stabs another person. That person dies. Now, picture this exact scenario. But the person had absolutely no idea the knife was in the bag. Someone had put it in there without their knowledge. They thought they were reaching for a pen. Same act, but completely different outcome in law. Welcome to Storm Notes. In this video, we will discuss mens rea. Let's dive in. Mens rea. It is Latin for guilty mind. And in English criminal law, it is one of the two fundamental building blocks of almost every criminal offense. You probably already know the other one. Actus reus, the guilty act. We will cover that separately. But today we are focusing on the mental element, because without understanding mens rea, you cannot apply criminal law properly. Not in your exams and not in practice. There are several types of mens rea, and the type required depends entirely on the offense in front of you. Get this wrong, and your analysis falls apart. So let us go through each one clearly. First up, direct intention. This is the most serious form of mens rea, and the most straightforward to understand. Direct intention means the consequence was the defendant's actual aim, their purpose. They wanted it to happen. Someone who plans and carries out an attack because they want the victim dead. That is direct intention. Clear, deliberate, purposeful. Now, this is where it gets more interesting, and more important for your exams. Oblique intention, sometimes called indirect intention, applied where the consequence was not the defendant's primary goal, but they foresaw it as a virtual reality of what they were doing. The leading case for this type of mens rea is Woollin, 1998. A father threw his 3-month-old baby towards a pram. The baby struck a wall and died. The father said he never intended to kill or cause serious harm. But the House of Lords said,
if the jury finds the defendant foresaw death or serious harm as a virtually certain result of their actions, they may find intention.
May, not must, as it is left to the jury. But that virtual certainty test from Woollin is non-negotiable knowledge. The result was not the aim, but it was so obvious it was going to happen that the law treats it as intention anyway. Next, recklessness, a lower threshold than intention, but it still covers a massive range of criminal offenses. In English criminal law, we use subjective recklessness. That means the defendant must have actually foreseen the risk of the prohibited consequence, and then gone ahead and taken that risk without justification. Subjective. We are asking what this defendant actually thought, not what a reasonable person would have thought. R versus G in 2003 confirmed this, and overruled the earlier objective approach that had caused real problems in the law. So the question is simple. Did they see the risk? And did they carry on anyway? If yes, recklessness is made out. Finally, and this one surprises a lot of students, is strict liability. Some offenses require no mens rea at all for at least one element. These tend to be regulatory offenses where public protection is the priority. The act alone is enough. You do not need to prove the defendant intended or foresaw anything. The act happened. That is sufficient. So, what now? In every criminal law problem question, whether that is an essay, a scenario question, or an SQE1 question, you need to identify what mens rea the offense requires, and then apply it to the facts in front of you. Miss the threshold, use the wrong test, or skip the case reference, and you lose marks. Mens rea is how the law separates the person who meant to cause harm from the person who did not. If you want this in a format you can actually revise from, our lightning pages on mens rea give you the full breakdown on one page. Every type, the key cases, exam application, and a quick reference framework. The link is in the description down below. It is one of the most used pages in the Storm Notes range for a reason. So, that's mens rea in a nutshell. Direct intention, oblique intention, subjective recklessness, and strict liability, the mental element that determines criminal liability. If this was useful, hit like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. And let us know, which type of mens rea did you find trickiest before watching this? Storm Notes, zero fluff, pure knowledge.